Just listen to some of his biggest supporters, both then and now. Listen to what they have to say now.
I want to say what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported.
And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president.
Look, I have not exactly found the correct words to communicate how I feel about President Donald Trump. I sort of ignore the topic of his existence altogether.
It just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right?
You buried the Epstein files. There is no border wall. You didn't deliver on mass deportations. You cut corporate tax rates for the rich by cutting Medicaid again. No infrastructure bill, no middle class tax cuts. You gotta refund the tariffs, and now we're in a regime change war with Iran. That's the breaking point. I'm out.
It's funny because they keep saying they don't recognize this man. This is not the president. Who else recognizes him exactly how he is? Who else is not surprised that any of this shit is happening? Who else wasn't really down to vote in a convicted felon as president? Who else has believed all the women, over 100, throughout the years? What pisses me off about these people is they will support and back and defend until he turns on you. But it's okay if he turns on everybody else and says the most disgusting things to women and admits to doing things to women and is dangerous, not that smart. Maybe it's not a great idea to put the host of The Apprentice in charge of the free world. But eventually all of them start to backpedal, they start fighting each other. It's crumbling for you guys. But you all are the biggest reasons why this man is in office and all of this shit is happening. You defended and platformed and got all of your followers and listeners to vote, 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 MAGA. All of you.
Every American that's having trouble with this, I am sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart. I feel like I've enabled this monster to destroy democracy, destroy everything that is good in this country.
We've got a very crazy man driving the train, and he's going to kill this country.
And Anthony, are you voting a straight up and down Democratic ticket?
Not only there, I am actually for the very first time contributing across the board, across the country. And I've never, ever written a check or spent any money on anything political because I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
I've been a lifelong Republican since the day I turned 18. For the first time in my life, I'm going to vote a straight Democratic ticket. Is if they're connected to Donald Trump, they are not connected to me.
So you now are no longer a Republican?
I am not, no.
Because of Donald Trump?
Because of Donald Trump. It was no longer the party that I joined. It's morphed into something that's almost unrecognizable.
You were a lifelong Republican.
Right.
If somebody had told you, say 15 years ago, that you are preparing to vote a straight up and down Democratic ticket in the midterms, you would have said what to them?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. So why are you now doing it?
To see Republicans not stand up to him, and the ones that do are just quitting.
I just think there's no values left anymore. There should be values. We have no values. He doesn't have any values. I thought he had values.
No, I'm definitely voting Democrat. I've been knocking on doors. I got a clipboard.
You're even canvassing.
I am canvassing for a Democrat
That's
in
how
Wyoming.
strongly you feel.
I believe hardly anything the president says, but I do believe he's a danger to this country and to our democracy.
Oops. It's almost like we weren't lying to you. But I'll say this, even though I will never forgive them for what they've done. And look, my forgiveness has no bearing on their life whatsoever. I'm glad to see that at least they are taking a proactive stance with this. Like, I fucked up. Now I need to put my boots on the ground and help make this better. And if you are any one of those people who is sorry for what you've done, if you're sitting back, staying quiet while democracy falls, just remember this. We know who you are. We'll remember what you did. And if the last thing that you did was vote for this man, that's how you'll be remembered. Now, if you go out and you start campaigning for real candidates who care about the people and you take proactive steps to make a change, that's how you'll be remembered. Owning up to doing bad shit is really hard. Trust me, I know. But you'll get a hell of a lot more respect than the respect you have now, which is zero.
How are all of you doing who decided to vote for Donald Trump in this past election? I vividly remember the day after Donald Trump got elected, there were so many people on this app dancing around saying that they're no longer going to get drafted, that they are going to be able to afford the house, that they are going to be able to afford more things and have an easier life now that he has gotten elected. We are essentially a year and a half into his presidency. We are at war. We are seeing gas prices skyrocket. Things are not getting cheaper. Our grocery bills are especially not getting cheaper. So I'm just curious, to those that genuinely thought that their lives were going to be better when Donald Trump got elected, how do you feel right now? Have things gotten better for you? Have things gotten worse? Have you noticed a difference in your life, especially when it comes to spending?
Welcome to another episode of FAFO, where I bring you stories of MAGA voters who have entered the find out phase of their vote, and maybe even a little bit of regret. This user wrote the following on conservative Reddit, where it says the following, quote, "I've been a Donald supporter since the 2016 primary, voted for him every single time, went to several rallies, bought the hats, shitposted online, convinced friends and family members to support him. I've generally been supportive of all of his decisions, even the unpopular ones. This Middle Eastern quagmire was the line for me. I specifically voted for no new wars and America first, a strong economy, cheap gas, drill baby drill, jobs for Americans, deportations, the whole platform. This war is so completely dumb and short-sighted that it genuinely makes me wonder if Smizreal is blackmailing him with material in the e-files. Such a shit way to end his legacy. I fully expect to get absolutely decimated in the midterms, and unless he does a significant about-face, the 2028 general. So incredibly disappointed."
Are we great yet? Are we great yet, or am I chipping out?
Francesca's is closing 400 stores and filing bankruptcy. Off Fifth is closing 57 stores and filing for bankruptcy. Macy's is closing up to 150 stores by the end of 2026.
We did not have a bad economy under Joe Biden. Donald Trump convinced you.
MAGA voters. Americans found itself the way it is as a result of the MAGA voters. Right now, you're being told the MAGA voters are regretting the way they voted. They are feeling betrayed. They're feeling hopeless. And they say, this is not what we voted. This is not what we were promised. We were promised American first, but now the way things are being run, we are not happy at all, because right now our life is unbearable, it's expensive, we cannot afford to pay our bills, and yes, we did not want this war, so why are we having this war? So that is the narrative that is being spread around online. So let's watch this video and then we're going to talk much more. And do you agree? Kindly subscribe to my channel and we're going to talk much more at the end.
$1 billion
restaurants. Confirmed closures so far 2026, 1,400. I'm going to give you the projected closures. Please sit down for this. If you found this post sad, informative, please like, comment, follow, and share. The projected total closures for 2026, 7,900 retail, restaurants, and businesses. Best for 2026. Economy was collapsing before the Iran war 23 days ago. Somebody with a master's degree who studies economics and has a business degree in accounting. All of us economists, Mr. Global, everybody is giving you a warning, warning, warning. But this is something like we've never seen. So estimating the catastrophic damage, and right now we're global damage. Even if we stop today, it will take years to get back infrastructure and supply. We are about to have unprecedented inflation. I want to remind you, we had inflation 2021-22 because we had the first worldwide pandemic since 1918. I want to remind you is this was 100% self-inflicted. Please like, comment, follow, and share.
Secret Service Sam here for LA Magazine with your economy collapsing report. You will not believe the restaurants that are closing in 2026. Domino's Pizza closing 250 locations, filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 11. Wendy's closing 300 to 600 locations. Popeyes 136 locations. Papa John's 300 locations, which makes me happy because I don't like Papa John's. Denny's 150 locations. Red Lobster 100 locations. Red Robin 70 locations. Pizza Hut 250 locations. Smoky Bones, never heard of it, 120 locations. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because those are all jobs that will be lost. That is over almost 3,000 restaurants being closed. And those are all people who count on that. And that is money that's being spent in our economy. What does it tell you about the state of our economy in this administration if that many chains are closing? Imagine how many mom and pop stores are hurting and closing now. Make sure to support your local restaurants. This economy is shite. And make sure to save up your money because nothing is certain right now in this economy. I had to give it to you guys straight. Secret Service Sam out, Samson for president of the world.
Right, so we are seeing online that there's so many MAGA voters literally saying this is not we are promised, this is not we want, and yes, we want a change. So what do you mean you want a change? Literally in America, if there's a new president, they are given a 5-term, that is 5 years. Right now we are 2 years down the line. He has 3 more years to go, and so far we have seen America change from the America that the whole world knows to an America that is so aggressive, that America that people cannot understand exactly what is going on. Yeah. So while the majority of Donald Trump base remains supportive, a segment of his 2024 voters has expressed regret during the first year of his second term. Recent polling and focus groups indicate while the majority of Donald Trump base, especially his supporters who really supported him from the beginning of 2024, some have expressed regret, especially during his second term. So according to the recent polling that were done the other day, you're being told there's a group between 8% to 13% of his 2024 supporters are now regretting their choice, and literally they've gone online and literally say, I regret voting for this current administration, so I wish I could go back and turn my vote. So why is this? Why is there this regret that is being shown around the world through online? Why is it happening? First of all, during the campaign time, there were a lot of promises that were literally promised to people, like vote me in, then I'm gonna make sure I do 1, 2, 3 things. Yeah, and so far some people really are discouraged because some policies have been passed which has literally directly affected some of these MAGA supporters of this kind of administration. For example, farmers have been literally been affected by the crackdown of the illegal immigrants in America. Yes, they voted for illegal immigrants to be taken out of America, forgetting the fact that majority 99% of the jobs that are being done on the farms in America are being carried out by the illegal immigrants. And that is the reality. So what happened when they did the crackdown of those illegal immigrants? Farmers realized all of a sudden they have no workers. Farmers realized all of a sudden we made a mistake. Farmers all of a sudden realized they are making losses left, right, and center. Why? Because there were no workers to pick farm produce and take them to the market. Farmers were left hanging. They could not process their goods, delivery, they could not make money at all. As a result of this, some of these farmers have ended up losing their farms to the bank because they could not pay back their mortgage, because they could not earn money whatsoever, because they don't have any workers. So you see that ripple effect? Yes, that's the reason why some of these MAGA voters, who majority are farmers, felt this policy affecting them where it hurts them the most, and that is their livelihood. Then cost of living. Supporters report frustration that wages have not kept pace with the rising prices. First of all, as a result of the tariff war that happened the other day, you're being told grocery prices have really tripled or even quadrupled, while their salaries has really remained stagnant. Some people also have lost jobs left, right, and centers. Company have decided, you know what, we are going to lay off people because we cannot afford to have this many people, and the job level that we are bringing in is very, very little. Then tariff impact, like what I said, some voters feel duped by blanket tariffs which they believe have directly increased their personal expenses rather than just targeting specific industry. Then job insecurity, individual cases such as federal employees being fired despite high performance ratings have fueled a sense of betrayal among the working class supporters. So the American First foreign policy that has changed. A significant anti-war segment of the MAGA coalition feels the administration has abandoned its non-intervention promises. Remember, when he came to power, he said he's going to make sure America is peaceful and he's not going to do any war whatsoever. Right now, we are 2 years down the line, and so far we have seen this war that has happened right now, the Iran war, and of course also when he literally did an operation where they went to Venezuela and took out the president of Venezuela to America. So people are seeing like literally a betrayal where he said one thing and does a different story in reality. Then the Iran conflict, recent military actions in Iran have been a major final straw for many, leading to widespread of no-king protests across the US, which is currently happening in America, where a mass demonstration where people say we no kings. In other words, they don't want a king, they want a president who listens to the people, the voice of the people. Then foreign funding. Disappointed voters cite foreign site continue high-level funding for overseas war, specifically Israel and Ukraine, as a violation of the American First platform. Because when he came to power, he made a promise that he's going to make America first. Everything that he does is going to be about American first, and everything else second. But so far, they are seeing literally that he's not fulfilling that campaign, and they're seeing like he's betraying them. All right, so also we're having this immigration enforcement, the ICE being put in the ground, and the way they are literally managing people. Some people are not happy about that. They are literally comparing it with the way the Nazi used to hunt down the Jewish on the streets and on their homes. So there's that comparison, and people are not happy about it because literally families have been torn apart. You're seeing where people have been killed as a result of ICE trying to track down illegal immigrants on the streets. We have seen mass demonstration against ICE happening in America as a result of the way the inhuman way, the way they carry out attacking people, just to ensure that, to find out whether you're an American or not. Some people are not happy about that, and yes, that is also one reason why some people are not happy with the current administration. Then trust and character concern. So the Epstein files that came just the other day with the way they were released, ongoing suspicion regarding the administration handling of these files has been cited as a reason for some voters to distance themselves. Remember when he came to power, he did say during the campaign time that he's gonna make sure the Epstein files are released to the public, which he did. But the way they handle it, some people felt like there's some files which have not been released to the public. They felt that there's some things which they're hiding as a result of that, and his trust is a bit eroded right now as a result of that. Then leadership style. Some younger voters now describe the presidency as reckless or overpowering, fearing a shift toward a dictatorship. Yeah, some people look at it like laws and rules and regulations that governing America are not being carried or followed through by the current administration. That's the reason why people say they're not happy with the leadership style. Then influence of personalities. High-profile figures like Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson have publicly criticized the administration's recent choices, particularly regarding the Iran conflict, influencing their large audience. These are people who have millions and millions of followers online. So if whatever they say, usually it influences a lot. It says a lot. And yes, so some people really right now they're not happy about this current administration, the way they do their thing, and that's where the whole I regret Maga, because people are affected in one way or another directly in their lives. Some people have lost their livelihoods, some people have lost their lives, others have lost their jobs. And yes, these are American people, normal American people who are depending on their 9-to-5 job, paycheck to paycheck. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear from you guys, and please subscribe to my channel.